Hi, everyone. It's Agi Anderson, your Brevard, Florida realtor, back with you. And Beth Dodson from HomeZotta. We are doing the best home management practices for your Florida home. We are now, I can hardly believe it, Beth, that we're on episode 4. And so we have people probably tuning in for the first time. I don't know if they know what HomeZotta is. And if you could do a little mini recap for me on the first 3, what we talked about, that would be superb.
Oh, that's awesome. So first of all, thank you for doing this with me. I was super excited. And yes, this is a 6-part series. Just to give you a brief introduction of me, I am Beth Dodson. I am one of the co-founders of HomeZotta, which is an online digital platform to help you manage your home. Super simple, or so people might think, but managing your home has a lot of details to it. And so in the first 3 episodes, we covered home inventory and why this is really important for you to have one. 2, we covered home maintenance and what the value is of understanding home maintenance and performing specific maintenance tasks to maintain the value of your property. And then 3, understanding projects and offering solutions and suggestions on how you can properly plan for those projects and how you manage the different types of projects that you might be tracking, whether it's repair, design, or remodel.
Perfect. And today our topic is home finance. And let me tell you something. If anything scares me, it's anything that with the word finance. And I'm a realtor for a long time, but you think home finance and you think money, losing money, making money
Gaining
too,
money.
of course. But, it's like a house can be like you think of the money pit, it's like finances and unexpected and yada, yada, yada. So we are now on, tell me what's finance to you? Tell me what that is.
Okay. So yeah, for me personally, finances is all the things I spend money on. So in general, but when it comes to the home, it's specifically what the home cost to operate it, and also the value that the home provides. And so think of.
What do you mean operate it?
Great question. So we all know that you said it, money pit. I don't want people to be afraid. Homes do not have to be money pits. However, they do need care. And we talked about this briefly in the previous 3 episodes. There's a real financial component, whether you're remodeling a property, whether you're buying new items for your property. So whether it's kitchenware, whether it's new furniture, whatever it is. And then there's also the cost of maintaining your home. And some people may perform the task themselves, which reduces their cost. But let's face it, if they need to hire out, they will need to pay a service provider to do that. And so think about the money you put in your home by buying all the decorations and all the different use case items. You think about maintaining your home and the cost that it takes to do that. And then 3, any updates, repair projects, remodel projects, they all cost money.
Yeah. So in this component on finance, do you talk about having a reserve?
Yeah. So one of the things that I pay attention to is not only are we looking at all these financial metrics to maintain your home, and one of the things I did forget, in addition to the task we have to perform, we also pay utility bills. If you have a phone bill, if you have service providers, maybe you don't cut your lawn or clean your house, someone else does it, whatever the case may be. Maybe you have a maintenance contractor that comes in every quarter to do some work for you, almost like a concierge maintenance person. But when you're looking at all of these costs, it's important to have a reserve of what your house is going to take to maintain it and operate it as a bare minimum. And what I mean by that is, if you can at least reserve 3 to maybe 6 months, and not everybody can, especially in the situation that we're in right now. Some people are like getting things done just barely. But if you can have something in reserve, then you understand what your utilities are. And you also understand at a very basic level how much your home is going to cost you to maintain it all year. And for some people, they may have hired out with maintenance, but they may not be able to do that if they've had to cut back. They may need to perform the task themselves, and maybe they did it before, meaning hired out, in order to use their time elsewhere. And now they may not be able to do that. But understanding the utilities and the very basic expenses to keep that home going, because if you don't have electric or gas and electric, then your house, you're not going to have fans running, you're not going to have HVAC, nothing, which can be dangerous. And then at the same time, if you want to really maintain the value of the property at a very basic level, you need to understand how to maintain your home. And those usually have cost implications.
One of the things I've told, especially younger home buyers, is to create a reserve account that's specifically for their home. And I'm telling you, even if you put $20 in there, keep putting money in it all the time, every paycheck, a little bit, and don't touch it. Because let me tell you, when your AC goes out and you go, it's $4,000 to have that replaced, you know, I just think it's smart and wise to do that. So what do you think homeowners can actually do to better manage their home financially? We're talking about this reserve. Is there anything else we're not covering?
Yeah, there's a couple things that they can do. One, they can actually document what their home costs, because a lot of people pay their bills and they don't think about anything. They don't take a look at trends. They don't take a look at how do I lower these costs? So sometimes when your electric bill is high, it could be that maybe you have air getting in because your HVAC is working harder. So you may have to go check your windows and your door jams. Sometimes it's simple as you need to readjust how you're using the electric in your house. Do you really need your HVAC at 67 degrees, or can you turn it to 72 degrees, depending on where you live? And I think that's really important. It helps you understand how you manage the different utilities you're using. The second thing I would recommend is when you can start documenting exactly how much you're spending on maintenance, as an example, you will have a basically trend of what you spent for the year. So not only are you seeing what you're spending for the year on maintenance, but you're also predicting what you're going to spend the following year. This not only helps with managing your house, but it also helps with managing your overall personal financial budget. And what I mean by that is, if we all know that a lot of people do spring and fall cleaning and maintenance, that's usually what the whole country does, is spring and fall. And true. So we see spikes in spring and fall of maintenance expenses. So if you're going to spend money on your maintenance in spring and fall, you may not have the cash flow to, let's say, take a vacation. So save the vacation for summer and winter versus spring and fall. And it helps you better manage your overall personal cash flow as it relates to the impact of your home. And let's remember, our homes, according to the Consumer Expenditure Report, cost us 33% of our incomes annually. It's a third of our income every year.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what we just did to help with our electric? We're getting solar panels put on.
That's great.
And so somebody that wants to do that, I mean, you don't realize how there is a cost to it.
Yes.
But I really feel like people don't investigate enough to see how that's going to save them in the long run. And using solar is like, you can plan for that. So how's HomeZotta going to help me do all that?
So HomeZotta can help you actually track all this information. So not only are you tracking your investments in terms of spending on the products that you buy, but also the maintenance that you're performing. And then when you are tracking completed tasks and any cost associated with their maintenance, then what ends up happening is you start seeing a year-over-year trend of exactly where you're spending on your maintenance, which helps you have predictive aspects for the following year. So you can start planning exactly where you're going to spend your money on maintenance. The other thing that HomeZotta can do, and we talked about this in a previous episode, specifically around projects, and you talked about the HVAC unit. In order to prepare for those kinds of big projects, it's important that you start understanding what they will cost. And HomeZotta can help you by providing you the templates around remodel, repair, redesign projects. And that's important because you can start understanding how much you need to save over time to perform these tasks so that they're not sneaking up on you unexpectedly. The other thing that HomeZotta can do is we have an area in the system, it's called Home Finances. We can help you understand how to track the actual utility bills. So if you tell us your address, we will predict on a close aspect of exactly what your house is going to cost based on your zip code. We think you may have this amount of energy you're going to be using. You may have this cable system. You may have a phone system, maybe not. And then you have all these other areas, and we'll pre-populate that for you in the HomeZotta system, so you can get an understanding of what your home is going to cost you in totality. So the maintenance tasks, the projects that you're preparing, and all the utilities. And then once we do that, we also have the ability to also provide you a 3-year forecasted value of your home inside HomeZotta. We can understand exactly how much you have left on your mortgage. And this could be for your primary home or any secondary home that you have. And because we have that data, meaning the forecasted value and the mortgage payoff, we understand the equity within your home. And that becomes an asset for you. So when we help our homeowners, we can help them understand in like a mini balance sheet for their home, what their expenses are against what their assets are, which is really important for homeowners because oftentimes they forget that their house becomes part of an asset and part of their retirement package.
That is so true. But I have a question I'm going to ask, but I'm going to ask this first.
Sure.
So let me tell you about my Ray. Okay. He goes to Home Depot. He does get a receipt. He gets how can we manage that better to get in the HomeZotta? We're not getting that stuff into HomeZotta. And I thought about that. And ever since we've been doing this series, I'm paying more attention to my own house and how I'm spending money. And we're not tracking, like we're working on the sprinkler. And I'd like to know, what have we spent? You know, so anyway, that's one of my questions. And I have another question.
Perfect. So I know more about you, Agi, that you have a primary home and an investment property. So I'm going to give it to you 2 ways. So the first thing that you can do is when Ray gets that receipt for whatever he purchased, whether it's air filters, whether it's fixing sprinkler systems, he can take a photograph of that receipt and we can marry up the fields in the receipt with our AI technology that we have inside HomeZotta. That's one area. 2, you can take a picture of the receipt and simply upload it to HomeZotta and do nothing with it, which really doesn't do well. You can also take the receipt and manually enter in the information that you spent on this particular task.
Oh, like that's going to happen.
I know. Some people don't, some people do, but
I know.
Some people prefer different methods. So
I know.
I offer all 3 methods. And that way you understand what you spent money on. And then as you track those purchases in your maintenance, because you're actually repairing irrigation, you're repairing, changing out air filters. These are tasks inside HomeZotta on the maintenance calendar.
Pool. A lot of people in Florida have a pool, and the muriatic acid and the and the chlorine and the it's forever. And I just think it would be great to track that cost. This is how much it costs me to operate my pool.
Exactly. And then you start understanding the overall cost of your property, and think about it from an investment property as well. That's super important. So depending on the state and the county and city where you live, you may be able to write off some of those expenses as you earn money from that property. So it's important to track all that, especially for investment properties, because there may be some opportunity in balancing the investment income.
Well, that was my next question. What value can our homes bring us towards our financial wealth?
Yeah. So there's a lot of value that they can bring us. First of all, buying a home is a long-term play. And I hear this from a lot of younger people. They're like, we hear you guys talking about the maintenance that it requires and the care and the design and the remodels, and they seem to get a little exhausted. And I'm like, yeah, but you have to look at the long-term value of the property or properties. So as you have the one property the more you pay off your mortgage, the more equity you build in the property. As time goes on, many people refinance their properties because there's better interest rates and they're in a different position. Some people decide they want to pay down on their principal, and they can do that. And that helps them with the equity in their home. And they may need that equity, not only for retirement, but maybe they have healthcare situation that unexpectedly occurs, or maybe they want to send their kids to college and they want to help, and they can use the equity in their home to do that. And I know people that do everything.
So we actually, on our primary residence, we pay that extra payment. Like we opted, like they don't do biweekly somewhere. They just say, pay this each time, and then you're making that extra payment. Do we need to track that in HomeZotta, or is that, what's the skip on
it
that?
should be tracked in HomeZotta. If you update the system over time, I recommend at least updating it once a year just to check on where your status is of your mortgage. And then 2, if there's anything that looks wonky, because maybe the system didn't pull the correct data, you just make the minor changes and run the report again. And it'll help you see when the exact date you're going to pay off your home.
That, I think that's completely cool. You know, like I tell people all the time, like, you got to be smart with how you're investing in your home, because if your home is just sitting there, it's not making you any money. If you refinance, be careful how you buy another property. Don't go on vacation. You know, it's like there's so much value. You're right, in your home and what you can do with it. And a lot of people, they don't realize it. I've had a couple conversations, and they really don't realize the asset, like right now, that they can do a cash refi and you can buy another house.
Yes, that's
you can
correct.
buy another house and put it on HomeZotta.
Yes, you can buy another house, and it can be either a fun vacation home, or you use it for parts of the year as a vacation home, and then you rent it and it becomes investment income.
An income producing vacation home is what I call it. Income producing.
Brilliant. And people, I think, are starting to realize that, especially since this pandemic, they're starting to realize real estate is a good long-term investment.
It is.
And they are making multiple types of investments. Now, the trick is they'll still need to maintain that second home. So it's important.
That's right. Okay. What are the different type of finances in the home?
Yeah, so we talked
cover that.
We talked briefly about that. And one of the things we talk about is the overall utilities and service providers that you have to use. We talk about the maintenance task and what they cost, and then any projects and any items you're going to buy for the home. And that's really important to track all that. And when I say utilities, by the way, I also include that with mortgage, insurance, and taxes.
The whole shebangy.
Yeah.
So we just talked about income producing homes. This HomeZotta is, you know, I wanted you to touch a little bit more on that, because, you know, we talk about, we have an investment property, we want to get another one. What's, you know, how, I think that there's a value that you have a program like this to help you manage your primary residence in addition to your income producing properties, correct?
That's correct. So one of the things that HomeZotta does is it allows you to track on the consumer version up to 5 homes in the deluxe package. If you have more than 5 properties, we encourage you to use HomeZotta Professional, because you can track unlimited properties. It's just the way it works.
What is HomeZotta Professional? I don't know that I even understand that.
HomeZotta Professional is very similar to HomeZotta itself, but we put a wrapper around the core of HomeZotta so that professionals can go in and manage multiple homes. And what I mean by that is anything above 5 homes. They can give the gift of HomeZotta to their clients if they want to, but think about a property manager who may want to track 50 different properties. But these 50 different properties are in different locations. They have different maintenance schedules. They have different values. It's important for an investor of that caliber to understand exactly what the property values they have are in each location. And also, it's important to understand the maintenance cost and schedule that they need to track so that they can be on top of it, so that the house is running efficiently, or the property is running efficiently for whoever's in it. because we want to make sure that the people that are renting from you are also safe and protected from any problems that may happen to the house. So that's really important. And then the other thing that we can do with an investment property for large investments, small investments, what have you, you can actually track rental income inside HomeZotta as well against your expenses. So we'll take that to the next level of understanding your balance sheet. For some people, they don't rent their homes. They're just managing their home and they want to understand the value versus the cost. For other people like yourself who has an investment property, you may want to manage not only the cost of that property, but also the money coming in on that property to make sure you're understanding the profit margin. Not to mention, some people out there, and I think you've talked about this briefly, Agi, are offering up space or rooms in their home for Airbnb.
Yeah.
The same thing. You can track all that in your primary home. If you have an in-law apartment on your primary home, or you want to rent a separate room on your home from an Airbnb perspective, you can do that with inside HomeZotta.
I got to definitely look at that component for me.
Yeah,
because ours is semi-private.
Yeah,
I just thought of a question because I have a lot of friends in property management, and including us, including our company. We have a very large company. So if you had HomeZotta for a client, are you recommend, let me see how I say that.
Okay.
Is it a client? Is this the owner, the property owner would be the one paying for the HomeZotta to the property manager? Like that would be one of their expenses?
Well, it could be either or. So the property manager,
when you have almost 2,000 properties like you manage, like we do, that's a lot of money there.
Yes. So I would include the property manager as probably the owner of the account in HomeZotta Professional, because 2,000 properties is a lot to manage. They need a system that will help them. And then they can also share that with the property owner if the property owner wants to be aware of what's going on with the property. Some property owners want to be aware. Some property owners look at this and say, you know what? I hired you as a property manager, or a house manager, and I want you to manage everything, and I don't want to know what's going on. So the option is available inside HomeZotta for both. A property manager to manage it without the influence and the awareness to the property owner, or they can share it with the property owner.
Well, let me just tell you something. This has been a chock full, like all the others, of information. Like, I think I know stuff, and then I talk to you, it's like I know nothing, in terms of like home finance as a realtor. And I'm saying this out to my realtor friends. I got lots of them out there all over the United States. It is such a benefit to learn about HomeZotta and how you can help people, especially after the sale. Because the conversation to me should be more about maintaining your property, the maintenance, your projects, all of that. I think is just brilliant that it's all nicely, neatly tied up in a little package called HomeZotta.
It is. And think about from your perspective, when the homeowner is ready to call you back to sell that home and to buy a new home, you've helped them maintain it. So you understand what their maintenance schedule has been and what they've done to the property. And then all of a sudden you have more value to sell the home to new buyers. Yeah. It's like a win-win-win all the way around.
So let me just share with our audience, if you're interested in getting HomeZotta, you can start at HomeZotta. There's no cost to you to get started, right? Am I right, Beth?
Yeah. The inventory section is great.
I'm going to provide a link in the description where you can sign up, and it doesn't really cost you anything to get going. There are components where and it's very affordable. I'm blown away at how affordable it is, but I really think it's beneficial. And I'm so excited. What are we going to talk about in episode 5, Beth? Tell me, because I'm waiting with bated breath.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be so much fun. It's probably my favorite part of HomeZotta. We're going to talk all about documents. and how you track all your documents in one location and what those documents look like. What documents are we talking about?
Let's just start with one. Okay, folks, we're going to talk about this next week, but I'll tell you one that I'm asked all the time. Do you have the survey from when you bought your house?
Yep.
You would be so easy to go into HomeZotta and go, oh yeah, I got it right there. They go, it's in some box somewhere in some closet. They don't know. So
Nope.
I'm telling you, I can hardly wait to talk about documents, because you can start right from the very beginning of the home purchase all the way through and everything. So tune in. We're going to post this on YouTube. Next week, we will do the same thing. We'll be talking about documents for your home, right?
Yes.
And if you want to get started, I highly, highly recommend that you do. I'm providing you the link. Look at HomeZotta. It is a game changer, girl, with home. It is. It's a game changer with managing your house finances, managing your house projects, and my favorite, maintaining your property value. I mean, if I don't get that in there, right?
Well, that's your motto, maintain property value.
I'm telling you, I don't know how I came up with this year, but now it flows into everything. But maintaining your property value it's golden. It's priceless. It's priceless information, and it's invaluable in terms of the longevity of home ownership is maintaining your property value. So Beth, thank you. Your pearls of wisdom are greatly appreciated. I know by me, and I'm sure by my audience. And at some point, let me just tell you before I sign off, hey, professionals, we're going to do one for you, right, Beth? Are we going to do something for the professionals? Because, when I'm doing this out of the graciousness of my heart, because I love you guys, because you need to know how you can help your clients with this kind of service.
Absolutely.
So that's it for now. Ciao for now. I hope you all have a great week. We'll be seeing you next week with documents. Thanks for tuning in.